Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Zoo Tycoon scenario video. This time it is the fourth and final advanced scenario for the base game Zoo Tycoon. Although, given that I'm playing the complete collection, this is not the advanced scenario. Sorry, this is not the last advanced scenario. So today it is Tropical Rainforest Zoo. It says, a wealthy industrialist is teaming up with the government of Costa Rica to create a new wildlife park. He is donating $50,000 to start the zoo, hence we start with $50,000. And Costa Rica is donating a large plot of land outside the city of Punta Arenas. I probably mispronounced that. Although, is that actually a real place? If it is, then fair enough. On the edge of the rainforest. His directive is that this new zoo must have a large variety of different animal species from all over the world. In addition, the zoo must sustain a certain level of popularity with the guests who visit it. If these conditions are not met, he may well decide his money can be better spent elsewhere. So we've got 36 months. Now, this is the first scenario that has a time limit of at least 2 years, and it also is the first scenario to have a time limit of 36 months. Coincidentally, scenarios with time limits never exceed 36 months. So 36 months is the longest that you'll ever have to wait to finish a scenario, apart from scenarios that don't have time limits, which end as soon as you complete the objectives anyway, but you can take as long as you want, so it might take over 3 years to complete. But with this one, we actually do need to sustain all the objectives for until January 1st, year 4. So it is going to be a long scenario. Which is why it might actually end up being 3 parts, which I've never done before. Anyway, we've got 36 months to exhibit at least 17 different animal species, which is not the same as 17 exhibits. Because you can have an exhibit with, like, say, zebra and gazelle in it, and that counts as 2 different species in the same exhibit. Animal happiness of 90, that's easy. Suitability rating of at least 90 for all exhibits. That is easy, although certain animals we will have to kind of put a bit of effort in to get at least 90 suitability, because 85 is, pretty trivial. 90, certain animals getting to 90 suitability, you have to put in a bit of effort, but honestly that should be a piece of cake. Zoo rating of 80, piece of cake. Guest happiness rating of 90. That's interesting, because I honestly thought it was 93, and yeah, 90 is quite a bit easier to get than 93. I could have sworn that you needed a guest happiness of 93. That's what I read online. So maybe what I read online was wrong, or maybe I'm mistaken, or maybe they've changed it in the complete collection. Maybe it was originally 93 and then they changed it to 90 with the complete collection. I don't know. But we need guest happiness of 90. Which is still high, but hopefully we can sustain, higher than that even. Hopefully we can get the 95 guest happiness and then we get the extra $25,000. Which brings me on to my next point. If we take a look and turn the grid map on, you can see we have a huge zoo map, which is plenty big enough for 17 exhibits. And also notice it has a lot of trees and quite a few rocks, and it is mostly grass, freshwater and rainforest terrain. What we're going to do, against sort of the advice of environmentalists everywhere, and probably the government of Costa Rica, is basically just delete all of this. Remember, it is only a video game, do not destroy the actual rainforest. And straight away, that gives us an extra $68,172. So yeah, this scenario just got quite a bit easier, because we now start with a ridiculous $118,000. Now, if this was a dinosaur dig scenario, I'd be thinking, that's still actually not that much money. But dinosaurs are stupidly expensive. But because we're only building Zoo Tycoon, yep, you can only get Zoo Tycoon in this particular scenario. Yeah, we basically now have 36 months and 118,000 starting dollars to basically build a zoo with 17 different animal species, animal happiness of 90, which is trivial, zoo rating of 80, again trivial, exhibit suitability of at least 90 for all exhibits, pretty easy. The only hard thing really is maintaining 90 guest happiness, and then of course actually building 17 different species. We're probably going to go with 17 exhibits. We might end up building more if I get really bored and have nothing to do whilst waiting for the timer to run out. But anyway, with that in mind, because guest happiness is actually an objective and because we have loads of money, I'm actually going to very quickly raise the admission price to $29. Yeah, there you go. The zoo name is Punta Arenas Zoo. Again, I'm probably mispronouncing that. And I'm also going to build the compost building. Whoops. Right over there. Nobody's ever going to go this way, so it'll be fine. And yeah, I'm going to quickly save the game and unpause the game, and then we can just actually start the scenario. So yeah, I can't imagine, honestly, this scenario being very difficult. One thing I am going to do, though, is actually just very quickly raise up some of this river. That is actually going to cost me quite a bit of money, but it does mean that I can actually build a bit more. That bit was probably quite unnecessary. Yeah, hang on. What I'm going to do is do this bit and then just start building over here. And that's only $3,000, and that's plenty of land. Okay, so initial expansion of the zoo is going to be over here. We might end up building over here as well, but for starters, we're just going to build over here. So this is actually going to be quite similar in a way to the African Savannah Zoo, except we start with a lot more money, and it's you know, we can get whatever animals we want. Technically, we could have done that in the African Savannah Zoo, but we did actually start with some animals, and we get an extra year to do so. I can't really see this being actually very difficult, to be honest. But anyway, so the first exhibit, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, crocodiles are always a good bet. Got a lot of fresh water here, a lot of grass, a lot of rainforest, so we could even go with, like, Asian elephant. Why not? Let's go with Asian elephant, they're popular. So we're going to want a 8x10 exhibit. So that will be Asian elephant exhibit. I think this fits, yeah. Yeah, you can fit Asian elephant exhibit in to the name. That's not too many characters, but African elephant does not fit, unfortunately. So obviously, guests will only start to arrive once you put some animals in the zoo, and at $29 we're probably going to get quite a few guests coming into the zoo. Good thing about Asian elephants is they don't require any research to be happy. Foliage, rocks, rainforest, fresh water, too much grass. Yep, that's fine. They don't want any dirt either, so... Right, that's fine. Apparently. Alright, then we want some rocks, and we want some trees. And of course they want the foxtail palm tree, which is fine. In general, you want to build trees that don't take up an entire grid square, because then you can put more trees in. And there you go, we've already got 93 suitability. That wasn't difficult, now was it? Like I said, certain animals it's quite difficult to get you know, certain animals I think it's basically impossible to get 100 suitability. With certain animals you can just use like these rock formations and just sort of spam them because that does increase the suitability, and it doesn't actually seem to matter for like the rock count. That's interesting, there's a rock there. So let's relocate this rock. And that is 100 suitability, there you go. And we can actually put in more trees if we really needed to. Alright, let's get the first zookeeper going. Guests are starting to come to the zoo. There's not really much for them to do, but, you know, they come here anyway. Because they want to see the Asian elephants. And why wouldn't you? Everybody loves elephants, right? So yeah, we don't have to exclusively use rainforest animals, we can use whatever animals we want. So, for the second exhibit, we can use, well, whatever we want. I mean, it doesn't have to be rainforest, I'm just using rainforest because it's sort of fairly cheap and easy. We could even put in bison, seeing as there's a whole load of grass over here. Oops. What the fuck did I do with that? That's very annoying. I think those sort of roaring noises are actually that of the elephant. But both the elephants are perfectly happy, so it's fine. Alright, so this zookeeper can quite simply just look after the bison and the elephants. And we're going to need... I'm going to level this terrain as well. Yeah, we're going to need... well, why not go for a rainforest restaurant? Seeing as we're in the sort of rainforest area. And then... make that $16, and that should make big profits. And we can also put in the other standard buildings that we always generally put in. We can put the animal theatre over here, the elephant ride, which is fitting because obviously I've just built an elephant exhibit, and the carousel. And I'm going to have to make some of this not fresh water so I can actually build some path around here. And there you go. Actually, technically you can build path on water, no problem. But if I want to build things like scenery, then I either have to make it path or make it not fresh water. Alright, carousel, $6. Elephant ride, $5. Animal theatre, $7. Everything is expensive, but guests will pay the money. And weirdly, these guests come into a zoo with a limitless supply of money, so it's perfectly fine. Nobody complains. I could even use this rainforest rock wall. Guests are actually already leaving the zoo because they're like, I've seen everything in this zoo. Everything is boring in this zoo. I suppose, to be fair, we only have one exhibit, so yeah. But if you just stayed a bit longer, we would have more exhibits, you silly plonkers. You silly fools. Alright. Yeah, let's get the bison going. And I still maintain that, apart from maybe like zebras and gazelles, bison is like one of the easiest animals to build an exhibit for. You know, it's literally just all grass, some rocks, a couple of broadleaf bush, a shelter, and some fresh water. And then one male bison, two female bison, and there you go. 93 suitability. That was not difficult at all. That's 99 suitability. I don't think you can actually get 100 suitability with the bison. Right, now this zookeeper needs to be assigned to these two exhibits. Rename this exhibit to Bison Exhibit. And there you go. Already we've got two exhibits. And we're going to need a gift shop. That is one last thing that we're going to need. Oh yeah, and also you can't build buildings, except for the Lobby's Restaurant and the Swim Shack, which we can't build anyway. You can't build buildings on fresh water or salt water. You have to build them on actual terrain. Just build the gift shop there, that's fine. And then build path out like so. Perfect. Then we want to put down some low hedge fencing. And Asian Elephant 2 is ill. Already. That's not good. Good thing we've got one zookeeper who's assigned to that exhibit and the bison exhibit. He should be able to heal it fairly quickly. Right. Of course. So yeah, that's not a problem. There you go. Make that $10 and all is good. Alright, so the guests are coming in. Unfortunately, because a lot of these guests have only just arrived, they only have 75 happiness when they arrive. But that should increase as time goes by. We can also obviously build as much scenery as we need to. And we can build some observation areas as well. Try not to build them where... I mean, I don't know if it actually makes a difference, but try not to build them where you can't actually see the animals, because it's just like blocked by trees or something. I don't know if that makes a difference, I'm just sort of role-playing for the sake of realism, really, with that. Probably find out it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Yes, the guest happiness is 79. It is increasing because as guests come into the zoo, they become happier than when they started. So a guest that's been in the zoo for a while will obviously have higher guest happiness than the 75 that they came in with. Right, next exhibit. Again, we don't have to build Rainforest necessarily, but why don't we build some Bengal tiger? Or Bengal tigers. They only need 8 by 10. That's fine. So, Bengal Tiger. They're fairly simple to build an exhibit for, and they're also very popular with guests. So that is no issue. I'm aware that we're spending a lot of money. We can actually fit a crocodile exhibit in there, and again, crocodiles are very popular with the guests. So that is 5 by... that's 5 by 11. So that's not ideal, because I want 5 by 12. That's 5 by 12. So that is crocodile exhibit. Can I fit saltwater in there? No, I can't, so it's just going to be crocodile exhibit. No problem. And then put these entrances right next to each other, and then we're going to need one more zookeeper when these exhibits are actually built up. Its guest happiness is 82 at the moment. So yeah, this is just obviously like, you know, the starting point of the zoo. I'm aware that I'm doing things very quickly, and I'm also aware that I'm spending quite a lot of money at this point. In terms of research, we don't really need to do any research at the moment. We could end up researching endangered animals if we have enough money, and we could also maybe research animal houses. Probably going to want to research like animal enrichment in case we need like cat climbing tree for things like leopards, black leopards, clouded leopards. Maybe the rock cave animal shelter. That's about the only one that might be of any use. And also we're going to need like staff education and animal care. Don't need foliage. Animal houses, yeah, maybe. But yeah, let's get to researching staff education and animal care. Staff education probably not that important right now because we only have one zookeeper. We're not going to bother with tour guides and maintenance worker training 1. As I say, basically every scenario is completely useless for our purposes. Here, we can build... Well, we could build the animatronic theatre, actually. Or we could save this space and build an animal house of some kind. But seeing as we're probably not going to have those for quite a while... yeah, we're just going to build the animal theatre. Animatronic theatre, sorry. Not animal theatre. We've already got an animal theatre. And then just build up some extra scenery around here. Not a problem. And put the maps over here. Guest happiness is 80. But again, I think that's just because a lot of guests have basically only just arrived in the zoo. Damn, I want something that's like 3 by 2, but obviously that doesn't exist, so let's just go with obelisk, obelisk, and then another snake pit. Alright, and then surround the whole thing with the low hedge fencing. And I'm not going to trap the guests in the animatronic theatre unlike last time. Hold up. Okay, I did this slightly wrong. Only slightly, but still. That'll do. Right. Okay, so we're going to want another zookeeper. And then we're going to want some crocodiles and some Bengal tigers. I don't know exactly how much we're going to need, but that'll do as a temporary or an initial instalment. And then, as always, we're going to want some rocks. And as I say, basically every time I get crocodiles, use the water lily, not the water reed, because this game is silly. Whoops. As it happens, I built too much dirt and not enough salt water. And there you go, 100 suitability. Right, so this zookeeper will be assigned to the saltwater crocodile and the Bengal tiger when he finishes raking up this poo. There you go. And then Bengal tigers, obviously they're going to need a shelter. Some rocks. Not many rocks. Some fresh water. Some more rainforest. Bit of dirt. Yep. And then the foliage, which is of course the rainforest fern, not the mangrove, because it's the same but cheaper. And also smaller, so I can see what I'm doing better. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. And there you go, that is only 91 suitability, because I still need a lot more foliage. Alright. So let's keep going. Bengal Tiger 2 is ill, that didn't take long. Well, then this zookeeper can go and heal them once he's now assigned to the tiger exhibit and the crocodile exhibit. .98 suitability. 99 suitability. .100 suitability. Excellent. And you don't even need the rock cave. Okay, so we've got 111 guests and climbing, with no problematic guests that are hungry, tired, thirsty, need the toilet, or just generally angry for no particular reason. I'm going to save the game again. So after 4 months, we've got 4 exhibits, and the zoo is starting to come together. obviously, you know, it's not perfect. Guest happiness is now 87, it just shot at 88. Yeah, it's going up. I think the thing is that the ratio of new guests to guests that have actually come into the zoo, seen some animals and done some things, is going down, which means that the guest happiness is going up. And because we only actually need 90 guest happiness, not 93, that makes the scenario a lot easier anyway. I mean, ideally we would have, as I say, at some point get 95 animal happiness, but I digress. Right, jaguar is a popular animal, and it only actually needs 20 squares per animal. So let's build one of those exhibits. Actually, which is cheaper? Let me have a think. Is 4x10 cheaper than 8x5? 4x10, you've got 10 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4 is 28 perimeter. 8x5 is 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5, which is 20... Sorry. Yeah, 26. So 8x5 is the same area, but is actually slightly cheaper to build. So 8x5 is better than 4x10. Because you save yourself an extra $300 in exhibit construction. Once again, I'm getting a lot of vomiting guests with zero idea as to why, unless there's just a load of poo around for some reason. It's not getting raked up. Now we are going to need another zookeeper. Yep. I don't think vomiting guests affects guest happiness, or if it does, then hopefully not by much. As for over here, we can put a Japanese garden down, and that will obviously increase guest happiness. Is there anything else I can put down? I can put down a petting zoo, which we haven't done yet. And then put down the low hedge fencing, as always. And we've got the first people coming into the Japanese garden, which is lovely stuff. Now I can't actually see probably where the entrance is, but I'm guessing it's that tile there. Animal fertility is now available, which means that the animals will breed even more than they would do normally, which means I can make extra money from selling off baby animals. And there you go. As soon as I say that, Bengal Tiger 2 gives birth. So the Japanese garden increases guest happiness, obviously, but is also completely free, so it doesn't actually make any money. People are going into the petting zoo as well, which is really nice. I don't think there are anything else I can put down here that I haven't done already in terms of buildings, so why don't we just put down a very simple duck pond. And put down some low hedge fencing, and then we can also put down the buffalo statue, not buffalo statue, bighorn statue, and then we can put down 2 rainforest vases, seeing as we're in the rainforest. There you go. And that is actually a guest happiness of 90 already, with an animal happiness of 98. We do have a baby bison, and a baby elephant, and 2 male baby Bengal tigers, both of which will need to be sold off, unfortunately. Right. I did get a third zookeeper, who's currently unassigned to any particular exhibits. Exhibit 5. Jaguar exhibit. Now, even though we've got space there for 2 jaguars. It doesn't look like it, but it is, trust me. The jaguar doesn't like having more than 2 animals in its exhibit. And also, obviously, this exhibit is not big enough for 2 jaguar. So, if they did have a baby, that would need to be sold off. And pretty quickly once it reaches adulthood as well, because otherwise these jaguars are going to be really unhappy. Right, they're going to need rocks and foliage. Not a problem. Let's do the foliage first, because they do actually want the kapok tree. I can probably actually get away with the ulmo tree, but that would actually end up costing more, because I have to put down 4 to a square, which costs 480, as opposed to 230, which is just 1 to a square. And then put down the rocks. And there you go, that's a reasonably popular, fairly cheap exhibit. With 100 suitability, no need to get the rock cave, no need to do any research at all. Guest happiness has just dropped to 86. We can probably actually increase the admission price to 49. Maybe hold off on that. Just a bit longer. What I am going to do though is actually put brick wall all around here, where I'm not actually going to expand for the foreseeable future. And I'm going to put a bit of scenery around here anyway. Fountain down there, and path there, bit of path there. We have one hungry guest actually, so seeing as the restaurant is actually over there, why don't we put down a Prairie Dog Cafe right next to the entrance? Hopefully it'll make some money, and also hopefully it'll alleviate some guests' hunger. It also gives us... Actually, if we put it down like that, then in the 3x3 square I can put down elephant fountain, and then I can put down a bit of path over here, and then surround this all by fencing, or low hedge fencing at least. And there you go, put more brick wall around there. So guest happiness is 85, and I'm hoping that's not because guests aren't actually very happy. I'm hoping it's just because we're getting a lot of new guests coming into the zoo. I should just destroy that brick wall temporarily. That allows me to put down path here, and put down another snake pit and another bighorn statue. Surround all this with low hedge fencing, and we're actually almost out of money. Yeah, okay, that seems fine. So already people are starting to use the Prairie Dog Cafe as well, which is really nice. As for over here, we can put down extra bit of path, and we could put another building, but I don't know what we would put. 5x6. I don't think that's big enough for... No, it's certainly not big enough for like a animal house of any kind. So we could just put down an extra fountain. And then some snake pits and stuff. Saltwater Crocodile 3 is ill. Actually, 5 by 6. No, you know what? I can actually put an exhibit down over here. Hide this building for now. Ah, hang on. The crocodile that is ill is in the water, so can't be healed by the zookeeper just yet. Yeah, that's the problem, is that animals like crocodiles get ill, and then they can't actually be healed. Oh, I've just realised what I've done actually. I've got 5 exhibits and 3 zookeepers, which is fine, but I was actually going to put an exhibit round about here. Oh well, never mind. Yeah, we're very low on money. But if we actually just look at June, for example, we're paying about $13,000 in construction and research cost. By the way, I hope this actually shows up on the video, because I can see this perfectly clearly. But when I upload the video, I'm not sure how well these figures actually translate into the video. But essentially we're spending, for the month of June, we're spending about $13,000 on construction and research. But if you ignore that, then we're probably actually making about $6,500, almost $7,000 maybe, in profit. We could probably actually increase this to $49 and probably still be okay. Guest evidence is only 81. Is that just because there's a lot of... I think that's hopefully because there's a lot of guests coming into the zoo. Elephant Ride 1 is too crowded. Well, maybe we can get another elephant ride, or maybe I'll just increase the price. I don't know. In any case, we can build another exhibit over here. And again, I'm going to need to hide this building. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could build like a 6 by 10 exhibit. Unfortunately, it's mostly grass. So I'm going to want an animal that is okay with 6 by 10, but also possibly wants quite a bit of grass in its exhibit. Unless I want to change all this over, which adds to the cost. Komodo Dragon actually only requires 40 tiles, so we could build a Komodo Dragon exhibit that is only 4 by 10. And that will be perfectly fine. And also Komodo Dragon is actually very popular with guests, so that is very good for us indeed. I'm just checking, can I use low exhibit fencing for the Komodo Dragon? Annoyingly, this guide doesn't tell me because the guide does not include the Komodo Dragon. So, with that in mind, I'm just going to use regular fencing. And I'm going to build a 8 by 5 exhibit. And that will be big enough for 2 Komodo Dragon. So, the zookeeper is going to be assigned to the Jaguar and the Komodo Dragon, but he's going to have a bit of a way to travel, unfortunately, because these exhibits were unfortunately built quite far away. I mean, it's not like, you know, miles and miles he's got to travel. I'm just saying that he's got a bit further to travel than literally right next door, which is what a lot of the other guests have to do. Not guests. Zookeepers would have to travel. I don't know why the guest happiness is really low. And now, unfortunately, Saltwater Crocodile 1 is ill. Why am I getting so many ill animals? This is quite unusual. I don't know why I'm getting so many ill animals, really. That is very odd indeed. Also, animal happiness is only 96. Right, there's not enough shelters in the exhibit, but you're going to be sold off anyway. Asian Elephant 3. Yeah, I'm going to increase the price to $49. There you go. It just means that we get a bit more money, and I think guests will still want to come in at $49, like this person just came in. Okay, let's get some Komodo dragons going. We are running low on money, I'm aware of that. Right, the Komodo dragon don't like their exhibit, obviously. Komodo dragon terrain is a bit odd. Because they do want quite varied terrain, like they do want grey stone, which is a bit unusual for a rainforest animal. They want quite a bit of fresh water. Rainforest, obviously, I think they want a bit of grass. At least I'm hoping they do. Don't really want to have to convert all of this grass to rainforest. There you go. And no dirt. So it's rainforest, fresh water, and grey stone, and sand. And seemingly no grass at all. Right. As for foliage, they want mangroves, but I think I can get away with the rainforest fern. I hope I can, because I'm running low on money. So after I construct this exhibit, I think I'm going to have to stop construction while we raise up some money. And then a couple of rocks. It's possible I might be able to stop researching into animal care soon. Reduce food costs, that's good, that's done. That might actually be the last one in animal care anyway. We can start in staff education, but the only one that's really, the only one that's really worthwhile getting right now would be Zookeeper Training 1. Which actually it does let us get anyway. So that'll be done in 14 days. After that, I'm going to stop researching. But for now, we basically don't really want to do any more construction. Right, guest happiness 81. Animal house is only 93. Is that because of the Komodo dragons? Yeah, the Komodo dragon 2 is a bit moody. The jaguars are a bit moody because they're feeling too crowded. So why don't we? At least I'm assuming that's why they're a bit moody, because they're a bit too crowded. We're going to put in some more scenery for the guests. Still not really sure why the guest happiness is quite low, but I'm still thinking it's because there's a lot of guests that have only just come into the zoo. That's what I'm hoping is the case anyway. because I've got all the, you know, all the main buildings. We don't have any hungry or needy guests or anything like that. Guests are still coming into the zoo, yeah. Someone said earlier that the elephant ride was too crowded, so I don't know if that's still an issue. But yeah, so we now have that all coming useful. We now have 6 exhibits, 5 of which are, sorry, 4 of which are Rainforest, 5 of which are actually Southeast Asian. No, sorry, I'm getting this completely wrong. 4 are Rainforest, 3 are Southeast Asian, and 1 of which is grass. Zookeeper training is available now, so we can stop that. Yeah, we don't need to put any money into research right now. I'm going to save the game. So we've got guest happiness 87. If it could go up to 95, I would be very happy indeed, because that's an extra $25,000. As for the next exhibits, we want to build them sort of over here. I mean, I doubt we can probably fit another 11 exhibits in this area. If we can, that would be amazing. But obviously we've got all this area to build in as well. And then obviously we've got technically the other side of this river, but, you know, this is more than enough. So... Right, there's no animals I can sell off just yet. As in, like, no baby animals I can sell off for a profit just yet. Let's actually just build a tiny bit of brick wall. I'm going to build a path like that. And then build some brick wall over there. And we can actually put some scenery around here. Not more snake pits. Right, Komodo Dragon 2 has given birth. That's fine. So we've got 1 male baby dragon. 1 male baby Komodo dragon. That Prairie Dog Cafe is making us nice profits. Obviously the Rainforest restaurant is making us nice profits as well. Animatronic Theatre making us tiny profit. Lots of people are going to the Japanese garden. Lots of people are going to the petting zoo. Animal Theatre making $400 a month, that's nice. Elephant Ride making not much, but a small amount. Right. So let's put in a bit more brick wall. I mean, we can always obviously expand over this way, in which case I'll have to delete some brick wall, but not a problem right now. Because we're probably going to build an exhibit like over here, maybe another exhibit over here. So actually probably get rid of that particular bit of brick wall. Guest happiness 91, that's great. And yeah, we could build like an exhibit over here, but for now just build some brick wall up. The brick wall is basically the end of the zoo. It's just that the actual end of the zoo basically moves around as I expand it. Ah. Okay. The low hedge got converted into... or the brick wall got converted into low hedge, not a problem. So seeing as we've got quite a few unused tiles, why don't we put down a couple of obelisks? And we can put down a bighorn statue. Just makes the zoo look a bit nicer. We've got 91 guest happiness now. Save the game again. Right. Now that bison's actually grown up, so it needs to be sold off. Actually, what gender was that bison? It was a female, okay. Let's actually sell off bison 2. Oh, actually, that makes them sad. They don't seem to care about bison 4, but, oh, they do anyway. Right, that is a lot of poo in that exhibit. Where is the zookeeper? Because I've just realised that looking after some elephants and some bison, that's going to create a lot of poo. So maybe when we get a bit more money, we could actually get another zookeeper. And then we have one looking after... or rather, we have like 2 looking after both of those exhibits, rather than having like 1 looking after the elephants, 1 looking after the bison. Now these are... okay, these Bengal tigers have just grown up, so they'll need to be sold off. The crocodiles are fine. Elephants are fine. Right. 93 guest happiness now. Yeah, I'm glad that we only need 90, because that does make things a hell of a lot easier. And notice that we are still getting quite a lot of guests coming into the zoo, even at $49. The rate at which we get guests coming into the zoo will obviously increase with the zoo rating increasing, which will increase with the number of exhibits, because we're going to have 17 exhibits by the time this finishes. Given that that is one of our goals. Right. So, on the assumption that you get the $10,000 for the emergency donation, hopefully we're not going to need it though, but it obviously is there if needs be, hopefully. Why don't we build up some kangaroo? Because they only need 8x5 exhibit. So this is 8x5, and that can be the kangaroo exhibit. And kangaroo are a fairly cheap, pretty popular animal with guests. In fact, the main expense really is the foliage, because you've got to use the eucalyptus tree. If you use the hard kwandong, as it recommends, you get low suitability, but I think it is actually slightly cheaper because it is 1 tile large. Whereas the eucalyptus tree, you've got to build 4 to the tile, and it is actually quite an expensive tree, if memory serves me correctly. Do they want any fresh water? No. So the kangaroo wants no fresh water. Alright. Yeah, eucalyptus tree is 225, hard guandong is 200. But we do need 90 suitability. We probably could do that with the hard guandong, but we'll just use the eucalyptus. Because I've got it in my head actually that kangaroos with hard guandong is actually quite hard to get good suitability. Whereas with the eucalyptus, you know, with very minimal effort, I've already got 97 suitability. We are going to need another zookeeper. And we actually now have 7 exhibits. So he'll be assigned to the kangaroo, and we can also build another exhibit over here. I haven't decided what we're going to build, though. No, I haven't decided what we're going to build. Maybe camels? They're fairly cheap and easy. American Bison 2 is very sick. Well then, he needs healing. Where is Mr. Zookeeper? He's currently raking up poo. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. Tell you what, you heal up the bison. There you go. And rake up poo for good measure. Yeah, I think let's go with camels because they're fairly cheap. They only need a... Actually, I think they require... I'm going to check. I think they actually require 6x10 exhibit rather than 8x5. No, 8x5. That's fine. For 2 camels anyway. Perfect. So that can be camel exhibit. Put in some maps and signs. And again, with the camels, you want to use the palm tree, not the recommended... shit, what is it called? Quiver tree. Don't use quiver tree, use palm tree. So camels are cheap. They're pretty unpopular with guests, but that's not an issue. But like I say, they're fairly cheap. You only need a 8x5 exhibit, and palm tree is only 75, and you don't exactly need a lot anyway. So that is 92 suitability. We only actually need above 90. Did I just read? Bison 2 is very sick. That's out of date, so we don't have any problematic animals. Nor do we have any problematic guests either. 94 guest happiness is very good indeed. And yeah, we're still getting loads of guests coming into the zoo. We've got 48 guests coming to the zoo in September, even with $49 admission price. And there you go, that's 95 suitability, which is where we're going to stay. Ignore that. The camels will just stay at high happiness, even with that warning. This guy can look after the camels and the kangaroo. No problem. Yeah, this guy does have a bit of distance to travel because obviously he's got to go from here, whoa, to here. But that shouldn't be an issue. Now then, we do have money for another exhibit. Excuse me. What we want to build, though, I don't know. Yeah, what we want to build as our next exhibit, I don't know. We're at 94 guest happiness. I really hope we can get to 95 because that 25 grand is going to come in enormously helpful. I mean, we can build literally anything, and also we could start investing some money into research. Moose, maybe? Wow. Let's go with moose. I think they require 6 by 10. So let's go for moose. Probably find out now that I can actually get away with 8 by 5 again. Yeah, surprise, surprise, I could actually go with 8 by 5. Alright. So this is going to be the land of very small exhibits. There's now 3 exhibits that are right next to each other and they're all 8 by 5. So, moose exhibit. I mean, I'm not complaining, obviously. It's it means they take up less space and they don't cost as much. Moose. Moose has a bit more complicated terrain, though, but again, you know, it's not difficult, really. So fill it up with deciduous, and then add in small amounts of coniferous. No fresh water. Ah, I know why. Yeah. Small amount of fresh water. Bit of grass. No dirt, and you're good to go. A couple of rocks. Not many. And then use the... where is it? Weeping willow tree. You're going to need quite a few of these. And there you go. 98 suitability with very minimal effort. Now, unfortunately, he needs to be sold off. These guys, actually, we can sell off 1 and 2 and then leave 3 and 4. And Saltwater Crocodile 3 literally just gave birth to 2 females. Jaguars are fine, Komodo dragons are fine. Kangaroo gave birth to a male that will need to be sold off eventually. Camels are fine and moose are fine. Right, so that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 exhibits now. So let's get another zookeeper going. Who can be assigned to the moose. And then let's get some signs going. And a map. Notice I'm using maps with no tour guides, and yet the guests seem perfectly capable of finding their own way around the zoo and being happy. And there you go, 95 guest happiness. So we get the highest customer satisfaction award, which is another $25,000. I'm going to save the game, and that allows us to build a lot more exhibits. Brilliant. With that in mind, what do I want to build as a next exhibit? That is a good question. Could build some grizzlies. They're always fun. Black bears. They're a lot cheaper, although they're less popular. Lions, hippos, African elephant would be fine, but we'd have to research swinging log toy. Carded leopard, but we'd have to research the cat climbing tree. Don't really want to do highland animals. Polar bear is a good shout, because they're popular. Although expensive, because snow is expensive. We do have money, obviously. Why don't we build some grizzly bear and some black bear? So, consulting the guide, I'm pretty sure that grizzly bear is going to need... yeah, grizzly bear, for 2 grizzly bear you need a 10x10 exhibit. For 2 black bear you only need 7x10. So... yeah, being bears, they're obviously going to need quite strong... fencing. Can actually save on costs even more because we're building right up against the zoo wall border. Just saves a bit of money on exhibit fencing. So what was that notification that just came up? Saltwater crocodile 1 and 4 can't find any food. Hold up. Those are old. Saltwater crocodile 4 can't find any food, but we... yeah, these are all very old. It's just telling me the guests are very happy with the zoo, but, you know, I already knew that. Right, we're going to need to get rid of this brick wall. That's going to need to be a bit of fencing over there. Ah, that's awkward. I need 10x10. So I'm going to have to delete this bit of path to make this 10x10. Alright. And then we're going to need another zookeeper. Okay. Put down path like so. And then I'm hoping that might actually be big enough for an animal house. So let's spend a bit of money on researching some animal houses. Failing that, I can always just put down like a prairie dog cafe or something. Oops. Just destroy this bit of brick wall. And then put a bit of path down. And then I can put a snake pit there and a sphinx statue there. And there you go. Put brick wall over here. And there you go. Maps. And signs. And then basically I'm going to have this one zookeeper looking after both the grizzly bear and the black bear exhibits. So we'll start with the black bear because that's probably easier. We're not going to need the rock cave. There you go, we've got diverse species for having 10 species. Right, Right, the Black Bear is less popular with guests, but it is cheaper because it requires a smaller exhibit and it doesn't require any elevation. I think you can put a bit in and it will be okay, but it's not actually necessary. Whether it increases suitability or not, I don't know. I don't think it does. So it's actually roughly 50-50 with regards to deciduous and coniferous. You can actually put Black Bear in with Grizzly Bear, but the suitability requirements are probably sort of too different for them to be properly happy. And also, I reiterate the point that I made at the start of the scenario, that you need 17 species, not 17 exhibits. But you do need a suitability of 90 for every exhibit, not, 17 exhibits, but every exhibit that you build. And then they want the Trembling Aspen tree, which is actually quite expensive. I can use the elm tree to save a bit of money, although it is actually very big. I'm just going to use the elm tree, seeing as that's what it tells you to use. Oh, hang on, what was that just came up? Oh, highest quality exhibits, yeah. I think that's, yeah, it's 85 suitability for 10 exhibits. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with any money. So there are diverse species and highest quality exhibits gold awards, but diverse species, I think you're gonna have gold. I think you're gonna have 35 different species, which is more than you're ever gonna need in a scenario. So unless you're actually, trying to get that, then you're never gonna get that in a scenario. Moose 1 is ill, and Black Bear 2 has just given birth. That didn't take long. Reptile House is now available. So that is 97 suitability. So this guy's not saying it's fine. There you go, 99 suitability. I can probably get 100 suitability actually. Yeah, there you go. 100 suitability Black Bear exhibit. So yeah, guest happiness 95 is really good. Animal happiness 97. Just check that we don't have any overcrowding issues. Oh, we're going to need maintenance workers because the fencing is starting to deteriorate. Probably actually need about 3 maintenance workers. Hide the trees. In fact, just hide everything so I can see how deteriorated is this fencing. I don't think we're going to get any escaped animals, but it's always a risk. So this is Black Bear exhibit. We might actually run into money problems when we come to build the Grizzly Bear exhibit, but hopefully the $10,000 emergency donation will see us through, and also hopefully this zoo is profitable enough that that's not really going to be an issue. But I'm going to hold off until January year 2 before we start construction, because starting construction at the end of the month is a bad idea, because then you just have to pay extra for wages and upkeep and everything like that. So Santa is here, but I can't actually hear the ho ho ho. Oh yes, I was checking overcrowding issues, but I don't think we actually have any. 2 female baby crocodiles will need to be sold off eventually. Komodo dragon needs to be sold off. Now that we're getting a lot of animal houses becoming available, we can build one of those in that space that I left. Handily, the black bear babies are 1 male and 1 female. Right, what can we put down here? Ideally... No. Right, they don't... Right, the animal primate house doesn't fit, reptile house doesn't fit. Insect house is exactly big enough. I think the aviary is the same size as the insect house, so we'll put an aviary down when it becomes available in 10 days. But for now, let's start building this. I think once the aviary becomes available, I'll probably stop researching animal houses. At least until I build a few more animal houses. They're not strictly necessary, and to be fair, they're probably ill-advised. Yeah, grizzly bear didn't like his exhibit. That's kind of... well, yeah. Oh, shitters. Right. It's probably ill-advised to go with animal houses, but I use them... A, it gives me something to build, and B, they do actually increase guest happiness, but probably overall, they're probably not a good idea. I think they make the zoo look more realistic, but they are very expensive, I will admit. So I'm still sort of on the fence, like 50-50, are they a good idea, are they not? In theory, anyone that visits them does increase the guest happiness, but on the other hand, you can increase guest happiness simply by guests going to things like restaurants, carousels, elephant rides. Okay, these bears do not sound happy at all, which I'm working on improving their happiness. Yeah, it keeps giving me notifications saying that they don't like the exhibit. Grizzly bear's not happy, this is not good. Animal happiness is sort of tanking a bit. Hopefully that's enough elevated terrain. Rocks, 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 rocks. And then it's obviously going to need a lot of foliage. Right, the aviary is now available, so we can probably stop researching into animal houses. Put an aviary down. Shoot, where is it? There it is. Let's put the aviary down facing this way, and then also put the low hedge fencing just to surround it. There you go. So that costs nothing in upkeep, and it just gives a small guest happiness bonus rating to anyone that goes there. Obviously, we are going to want the raptors. So these grizzly bear are really unhappy because the suitability is not good enough. Why the hell is there an exhibit sign in this exhibit? Oh, for God's sake. Well, that's not going to help. Yeah, I can't imagine that's why they were extremely angry, but that's obviously not going to help. Alright. At least the suitability is actually like in the green now, so they're not going to get any... They're not going to become super unhappy about their exhibit anymore. But they will need to be fed and looked after by a zookeeper. Saying that, they're not so hungry that they're angry just yet. Grizzly bears obviously living in the woods will require a lot of foliage. In hindsight, grizzly bears were probably a mistake. But I just thought, seeing as we're building black bears, we might as well build grizzly bears. And to be fair, despite all the effort I'm going through, grizzly bears are actually popular with guests. And they're an animal that you can get to high level of suitability reasonably easily. Well, I say reasonably easily. You know, as long as you use a bit of common sense. Grizzly bear can't find any food. Yeah, we're going to need this zookeeper. Where is he? Are you the zookeeper? Nope. Zookeeper. There you go. Bears. That's your job. Lots and lots of bears. Guest happiness is 93. We've got one angry guest. Because he's hungry and he just doesn't like the zoo. Well, instead of going home and being a baby, why don't you just go to the restaurant? There you can solve all your problems. So the grizzly bears are becoming a bit happier. Hungry and can't find any food, needs more foliage. Right. I'm running out of spaces to put all this foliage. Okay, now the zookeeper is saying that it's actually fine. Still only 97 suitability. .98 suitability. Okay, I kind of take back what I said about the suitability being easy to achieve with the grizzly bear. They're actually a pretty expensive animal. But we've managed to reach 100 suitability. And if you actually look, that is a hell of a lot of trees. I was building the right... Yeah, yellow cedar tree, that was the right tree. Okay. They do have some fish which they can eat. Okay. So animal habitat is 95, guest habitat is 94. Angry guest left the zoo, thankfully. Plastic animals. Right. Okay. So we could build another exhibit over here, or I'm thinking, why don't we build another animal house? Let's build a primate house. And then extend the path over this way. Whoa, I'm out of money. Right, we've got the $10,000 emergency donation, but now I really do have to stop construction, otherwise I am going to go bankrupt. Well, not bankrupt, but I'm just out of money. I'm going to have to hide the trees so I can actually see what I'm doing, temporarily. So hopefully people will actually go to this primate house. Lots of people are going to the aviary, which is good. Probably not going to build too much over this way. We need another 6 exhibits. Well, actually, maybe end up building something over here. I'm thinking we need another 6 exhibits. So we can build over here. The zoo actually looks relatively small for something with 11 exhibits, but then you've got to remember that Jaguar, Komodo dragon, moose, kangaroo and camel are actually all really small exhibits. They're all only 40 squares. The grizzly bear exhibit is the biggest, and that's 100 squares. So, unless you're building particularly unusual exhibits, like Yeti and Bigfoot, with Zoo Tycoon you can generally get away with 100 squares for 2 adult animals, and that'll be plenty big enough. Yeti and Bigfoot require 18 by 10, which is pretty dang big, to be honest. If we built the insect... Oh no, that's the reptile house. Okay, if we built the reptile house, we could research that, and then... that would make the reptile house more effective, although also more expensive. If I make this bit of terrain rainforest, and then can I fit a reptile house around here? Yes, I can. It's not ideal though. People are going to the primate house, which is good. 15 people have been to it this month. And the aviary is getting visited as well, which is very good. So I can put in a reptile house over here. And then that also leaves... how many squares is that? $49. Okay, well I can't put an exhibit down there, but I can... I could put an insect house. No I can't. Okay. In that case, we may actually end up putting down like another restaurant or something over here, but for now I'm just going to leave that as it is. Research this for the reptile house, which we just built. That's like the whole point of us actually doing that. Guest happiness is now 96. That's really good indeed. And I'm actually going to destroy this bit of brick wall. And hopefully I can get enough exhibits to satisfy the objective for the scenario in this area. Right, Moose is ill. This exhibit is assigned to a zookeeper. Yep. Right, that's all good then. So we currently have, I believe, 11 exhibits to... Ah, hang on. Those are 2 females, so they need to be sold off. They will need to be sold off when they grow up. He will need, or she will need to be sold off when that bison grows up. Kangaroo, fine. Camel, fine. Moose, fine. Black bear, fine. Grizzly bear, fine. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 exhibits with 6 zookeeper. That's fine. So, unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to make it so that a zookeeper looks after the grizzly bears and the moose, or the moose and the black bear. And then, whichever one they don't look after will have to be looked after by another zookeeper. Right, Deadly Snakes of the World is now available. Primates of Southeast Asia is going to be available for the Primate House. So for $120 a month, that increases adult bonus and child bonus by 5 and 7 respectively. That's pretty good going. Right, I'm also going to actually need to destroy this bit of brick wall. Ooh, don't want to do that. Okay. So, it's a game. So, we could actually sort of cheap out and build another couple of rainforest exhibits, like tapir, giant anteater. So, let me just check. So, yeah. So, giant anteater, you can get away with a 5x10 exhibit. Southeast Asia is now available. Perfect. So, giant anteater, if you build an exhibit for 2 adults, you can actually get away with a 3x10 exhibit. And they'll be perfectly happy with that. So, actually, let's put a giant anteater exhibit over there. Gonna need another zookeeper prematurely. So this zookeeper will be assigned to... Hold up. So the guy that's currently looking after the moose can look after the moose and the black bear. Then this guy can look after black bear and grizzly bear for now, I suppose. Then this guy can look after the grizzly bear. And he's also actually going to look after the anteater. So yeah, I'm only going to need... what did I say? Yeah, 15 squares per giant anteater. Which means I can just do 6x5. Giant anteater can't climb or jump and has no strength, so I can actually get away with just using this low post and rail fencing, which is very cheap. So that is 6x5. Birds of Africa is now available for the aviary. And that is an absolutely tiny exhibit, but it is actually big enough. Amazingly. So, Zookeeper 7, who's currently looking after the grizzly bear, we'll also need to look after these giant anteater. I don't know necessarily if giant anteater is popular with guests, but to be fair, it doesn't really matter. They're only, yeah, their attractiveness rating is 10, but to be quite honest, that's fine. Guest happiness is... Right, I'm getting quite a few hungry guests, so we might actually want to put a restaurant over here. Or a rainforest restaurant, or a prairie dog cafe or something. Right, now, giant anteater. Shelter, yep. They want the burrow. They're the only animal, as far as I'm aware, other than the warthog, that actually like and want the burrow. They want a tiny bit of fresh water. Quite a lot of dirt. Or a bit of dirt. Too much grass, not enough rainforest, okay. So even though they're called the giant anteater, in this game they're actually pretty small. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. Doesn't actually say how big they are in the description. And they're going to need ulmo tree, which I was going to use for the jaguar, and then use the kapok tree, which is quite unfortunate actually, because this is going to cost more than the kapok tree will do. Oh well. We've got $30,000, that's more than enough. And there you go. That's 96 suitability actually, I think. I could probably want to get rid of some of these trees then. 99 suitability. There you go. So, this guy looks after... Whoops. the grizzly bears and the giant anteaters. This guy actually looks after the black bears and the grizzly bears, and this guy looks after the moose and the black bears. Raptors of the World is now available for the aviary, so we can get that. That's showing primates of Southeast Asia with the primate house, and we've got deadly snakes of the world at the reptile house. Lemurs of Madagascar for the primate house will come in very useful. So we don't have the insect house, but once we research Lemurs of Madagascar for the primate house, then we're going to stop researching animal houses, which will save us a bit of money, like $2,000 a month, because we won't be researching. Okay. That exhibit does look absolutely tiny, but it is big enough. And already, they've had a baby male anteater. Alright, so that is, by my reckoning, 12 exhibits. Yep. Oh! What happened here? My elephants must have died of old age. When did that happen? Asian Elephant 2 has died of old age. Asian Elephant 1 has died of old age. That's annoying. They lasted like 16 months, 15 months. That's not long at all. Don't we have animal longevity research as well? Or is that not a thing? No, that's not a thing. Yeah. I think you can get dinosaur longevity and marine animal longevity, but you can't get zoo animal longevity for some reason. Oh well, that's something to look out for. That's really quite sad. Okay. Nothing we can do about that. Just got to keep that in mind, that animals can die of old age without necessarily breeding and keeping animals in the exhibits. Because we don't want to get close to the deadline thinking, oh yeah, we're going to win this scenario, and then find out that in actuality we've got an empty exhibit. So, Lemurs of Madagascar is now available. Venomous Spiders is going to be available soon for the insect house. Once that becomes available, we're going to stop researching the animal houses. We can put another restaurant over here, actually. So let's do that. Charge $16 for the restaurant. So with 12 exhibits, we do actually have one too many zookeeper. I'm aware of that. I can fix that though, because Zookeeper 1 is doing Asian Elephant and Bison, that's fine. Zookeeper 2 is doing Crocodile and Bengal Tiger, that's fine. Zookeeper 3 is doing Jaguar and Komodo Dragon, that's fine, although they're quite far away. Zookeeper 4 is doing Kangaroo and Camel. Just hide everything to make everything easier to see. So Kangaroo and Camel, that's fine. Zookeeper 5 is doing Moose and Black Bear. Yeah, just cut that research. Just save the game and pause it. Make everything quiet. Zookeeper 5 is doing Moose and Black Bear. Zookeeper 6 is doing Black Bear and Grizzly Bear. Zookeeper 7 is doing Grizzly Bear and Giant Anteater. So really, Zookeeper 6 is kind of unnecessary. And he'll need to be reassigned. I'm actually contemplating getting rid of him. I'll keep him for now, but I think when we build more exhibits, then he's going to be fired, unfortunately for him. Right, we need 5 more exhibits, and I think we can fit 5 exhibits in this area, which means that everything in the zoo will fit into this nice little area. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. Right, tapir. Again, unfortunately, don't show in this guide. Tapir, Komodo dragon, Javan rhino all don't show up in my guide, so I've got no real information about those. We could go with penguins, but they're going to be quite expensive to convert all the terrain to snow. We could go with polar bear, but again, same problem. You've got to convert all the terrain to snow. Japanese sea owl. I think they're reasonably popular, and I basically never build exhibits for those, so they could be interesting. Or alternatively, we build some of the savannah animals like lions and hippos and stuff like that. Let's be a cheapskate and go with tapir, and one would have to assume that I can get away with maybe a 6x10 exhibit for some tapir. I guess we'll find out if that's not big enough. So this is exhibit 13, and this is tapir exhibit. How wide is that actually? That's 4 squares wide. Okay. Well, rather than be sacked, you're going to be reassigned. Or alternatively, I'll just actually keep you and have another zookeeper, which I can probably afford, to be fair. Right, well, let's get some tapir going. So first off the bat, is this exhibit big enough? Yes. No issue there. They want giant ficus tree. They also want some shelters, obviously. They want some dirt. Bit more rainforest terrain. So I don't know how popular tapir are, but they're a pretty straightforward animal, to be honest. And probably a bit of fresh water, maybe. That's a strange noise come from a tapir. Okay. And then rocks. Not like that. And then the giant ficus tree, which does actually take up the whole square. And there you have it, 100 suitability tapir exhibit. So yeah, I'm going to keep this guy, but he's just going to be reassigned. To tapir, and then could go with orangutan. That could be an interesting shout. Build a 10x10 orangutan exhibit. Let's do that. Alright. And one would have to assume, unless this game is massively flawed, that orangutan are popular with guests. Just make sure I've not actually put the... Nope, not put the entrance by a tree, that is good. I don't know how big that area is, but could put an exhibit there, or could put a building of some sort, or maybe some scenery. Let's go for fountain. Bighorn statue and obelisks. And then of course we want to surround the whole thing with low hedge fencing. Okay. Oh, actually, can I fit an insect house there? Probably not, but we can try. Oh, it does fit. Excellent. Annoyingly, it kind of fits in a way that I don't really want. Oh, Jaguars died of old age. Right. Yeah, I've got to check these exhibits fairly regularly because a lot of these animals aren't going to last very long. Don't know whether to put the insect house like that or not. Bearing in mind I've still got to build another 3 exhibits in this area. Right, well, that's a problem for another day. So the Asian elephants have given birth to a male. We're actually going to need more maintenance workers, though. Most popular zoo for having 500 guests. Again, doesn't actually come with any money. If we manage to get 1,000 guests into the zoo, which after 3 years, that is a possibility, you know. That does actually come with some money, because that's most popular zoo gold certificate. Now, base game, 1,000 guests is actually the maximum you can have in a zoo. I have edited the zoo files to make it so that you can have up to 5,000 guests in a zoo. You might be thinking, oh, that's cheating. But really, 1,000 guests limit was basically because this game came out 20 years ago when computers were not as efficient as they are now. And even with an absolutely enormous zoo, I still only managed to get about 1,800 guests in my zoo. So 5,000 is basically completely unfeasible. It's an arbitrarily high limit that I'm realistically never going to reach. Anyway, I was going to build some orangutans, and that's what I'm going to do. We're coming up for the 2-hour mark, so in about 5 minutes I'm going to need to end this part. That's not a problem though, just something to be aware of. Alright. Orangutans in this game are pretty noisy, but I think they make noise even when they're actually quite happy. So that's just something to bear in mind. Bengal tiger, can't find any food. Orangutans want durian tree, I should know that because I've built orangutan exhibits before in this game. I built one in my Southeast Asian zoo. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. So yeah, the terrain is all wrong in this exhibit. Whoops. So these guys are going to want some fresh water, presumably. Nope, apparently not. Grass. Bit of dirt. Whoa, not like that. And that should be okay, actually. There you go, 100 suitability. With some reasonably happy orangutans. Alright, so this guy is doing tapir and orangutan. As I expected, this restaurant is making good money. Yeah, I don't think an insect house here would be a necessarily good idea. But at the same time, this area is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by... hold up. 6 by 8 squares. If I can think of another animal that only needs a 40 square exhibit, that'd be fine. Like maybe ostrich. Not very popular with guests. If I knew how big this Japanese Zero exhibit could be, because the animal isn't very big, but then they might want quite a lot of exhibit space. I'm going to build this exhibit and have 2 Japanese Zero and just find out, is a 8 by 5 exhibit big enough for 2 Japanese Zero? I'm willing to bet it's probably not. No, it's not. Okay, what about 8 by 6? Actually, I just realised that's still only 48, so probability dictates that it's probably not big enough. Got the best zoo. No, it's not big enough. Okay, this was a bad idea. No big deal. Why can't I... Ah. Okay. We might end up building Japanese Zero exhibits, but not like that. Not a problem. Getting quite a few... well, I say quite a few, like some problematic guests that are getting sort of hungry, tired, thirsty, etc. Right, we need 3 more exhibits. Notice that I've actually only used about half of the time available. Yeah, 3 more exhibits. Or 3 more animal species, I should say, really. I'm trying to think, like... what's something I can fit in here? It doesn't require a very big exhibit. I mean, I could put like 1 hippo in or something, but that doesn't really seem very worth it. I know this is like fresh water here now anyway, but that will need to be changed up. Yeah, we did get the best zoo trophy, but then we lost it. But best zoo trophy doesn't give any money, it just means you got 90 zoo rating. I'm going to have to think about this, because I'm coming up for the 2-hour mark, so I will say, I'll pause the game and save it, and say thank you so much for watching Tropical Rainforest Zoo Part 1. Part 2 will be coming up soon. Obviously I'll upload the whole thing at the same time. But yeah, I'm going to have to do a bit of thinking about how I want to progress with this zoo and scenario. We've only used up half the time, but we have basically won the scenario. I've just got to build 3 more exhibits and make sure that animals don't become unhappy and guests don't become unhappy. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Take care, folks. See you in part 2. Bye-bye.